I'm a 29-year-old woman living in a medium-sized city on the East Coast. I work remotely as a freelance graphic designer and share a cozy two-bedroom cottage with my partner, Leo. We've been together for 5 years. No children, just a laid-back tabby cat who acts like the place belongs to him. Life is calm, predictable, and generally good, until family enters the picture. My parents have always been fixated on appearances, not just their own, but how the entire family presents itself. Growing up, there were never any loud arguments at the dinner table, not because we were harmonious, but because anything unpleasant happened behind closed doors. My mother is the type who irons napkins before guests arrive. My father is quieter, more detached, which somehow makes things worse. They pretend everything is flawless, even when someone is sobbing in the bathroom. And my older sister, Deandra, is the golden child they've built this illusion around. Deandra is 31. She works in pharmaceutical sales, drives a white BMW she polishes obsessively, always dressed in a blazer and heels, even for breakfast. She's loud in a way people mistake for confidence, and harsh in a way they dismiss as honesty. Every family gathering becomes her stage, her tone, her schedule, her version of events. My role? Somewhere between tech support and background decoration. Every year, my parents arrange a family portrait. It's a tradition. Matching outfits, a professional photographer, a carefully selected location. A new framed photo replaces the previous one on the living room wall each holiday season. Everything is meticulously planned, down to the exact shade of beige or pastel blue. Deandra has taken over the process. She chooses the color scheme, organizes the shoot, and even sends out outfit guidelines like it's a corporate branding exercise. This year's theme? Coastal elegance. Creams, whites, and soft pastels. No bold patterns. No visible logos. I actually made an effort this time. I found a soft lavender wrap dress that suited my shape, matched the palette, and made me feel good. For the first time in years, I wasn't dreading the photo. I thought if I looked the part, maybe the rest would fall into place. A week before the shoot, Deandra created a group chat with me, our parents, and a few cousins. She shared a collage of Pinterest models in linen outfits and flowy skirts. Then she started assigning suggestions, like we were part of a marketing campaign. I should have seen it coming when she said, "Let's focus on visual harmony this year." Minutes later, I got a private message from her. "I know you've gained weight this year. I'm concerned it will disrupt the balance of the photo. Maybe you should sit this one out." I stared at my phone, stunned. At first, I thought she was joking. Deandra has a sharp, biting sense of humor, but when I replied, "Are you serious?" she didn't back down. "It's about proportions," she wrote. "I just want the picture to look polished. It's not personal." I didn't know how to respond. I took a screenshot and sent it to my parents. My father didn't answer. My mother replied with, "Don't take it to heart. Deandra just wants everything to look cohesive." As if I were a mismatched throw pillow. Leo, my partner, saw the messages and nearly threw his phone. He told me I didn't have to go, that I shouldn't go, that this was the kind of behavior people cut ties over. But part of me didn't want to give her the satisfaction. I wanted someone to acknowledge that this wasn't okay. I called Deandra. She answered and laughed. "You're being dramatic," she said. "Everyone has a role in family photos. Yours might just be candid shots in the background, not the main frame." I didn't argue. I sent one last message in the group chat. "I won't be attending. Don't worry about me ruining the aesthetic." No one replied, except my cousin Izzy, who texted me privately to ask if I was all right. I didn't answer her either. The day of the shoot, I stayed home. I sat on the couch in my new dress, tag still attached, watching Leo make pancakes. I didn't cry until later. It wasn't about the photo. Not really. It was about how easily they accepted my absence, like I was always optional, a prop they could discard if it didn't fit the theme. Later that week, I was clearing out old screenshots when I stumbled upon a photo I hadn't seen in years. A blurry shot from 4 summers ago. Deandra, sitting in the back of a police car, makeup smeared, hair disheveled, face flushed. The mugshot that followed had been scrubbed from the internet after she got a DUI. My parents handled it quietly, paid the fines, and it vanished from family memory. But I remembered. Looking at that photo, raw, unfiltered, undeniably real, something clicked. That was the truth she worked so hard to bury beneath staged smiles and designer outfits. That was the version of her she never wanted anyone to see. And suddenly, I knew exactly what to do. The idea took shape in my mind. Deandra's mugshot, her messy hair, her tired eyes, her unguarded expression, was the first time I'd ever seen her without her armor. No filters, no posing, no carefully crafted persona. Just her, caught in a moment she couldn't control. That photo revealed more about who she really was than any family portrait ever could. So I grabbed my sketch pad and started drawing. At first, I just wanted to see how it would look reimagined as a mural. Not exaggerated, not mean-spirited, just honest. A grayscale portrait with clean lines and stark emotion. I envisioned a warm, bold background, maybe gold or deep orange, to give it depth without turning it into a caricature. I worked on drafts in Procreate, layering the mugshot with her polished social media headshots. The contrast was striking. There's a local muralist I follow on Instagram, known for his realistic yet subtly ironic public art. His work always makes people pause. I messaged him with one of my mock-ups and asked if he took private commissions. He said yes. We spoke for 10 minutes. I explained I wanted the piece in my garage, which I'd partially converted into a creative space. He liked the concept, calling it emotionally charged with quiet commentary. I had one condition. If anyone asked who commissioned it, he wouldn't reveal my name. He agreed, and even offered a confidentiality agreement to formalize it. I sent him high-resolution copies of Deandra's mugshot, her most curated profile pictures, and a candid family photo for context. He asked if I wanted it life-sized or larger. I chose life-sized. That felt right. He arrived 2 days later with supplies: charcoal, spray chalk, primer, and masking tape. The garage was mostly empty, with one blank wall that used to hold a whiteboard. By the end of the first session, the outline of her face was sketched onto the wall. Even in its early stages, the likeness was uncanny. 3 days in, my mother dropped by unannounced, as usual. She brought banana bread and soup, which she placed in our fridge without asking. Then she noticed the open garage door. She stepped inside and froze, her eyes locked on the half-finished mural. The outline was filled in enough to recognize Deandra, and the rust-orange background made it even more striking. She didn't speak at first. Then she asked, "Is that Deandra?" I said yes. She asked if it was a joke. I told her it wasn't meant to be funny. She stared at the mural, then at me, and demanded to know the point of it. I called it a personal project. She called it vindictive, warned it would cause more harm than I realized, and said our family already had enough tension. I reminded her I'd been excluded from the family photo to preserve its visual balance. Maybe the family wasn't as united as she thought. She told me to be careful, not quite a threat, but close. She said Deandra was under pressure and didn't need to feel targeted. Then she left without taking the banana bread. A few hours later, my cousin Izzy texted me a photo of herself in front of the mural, giving a thumbs up. She must have seen it through the garage window. Her caption read, "Artistic justice. I support it." By the end of the week, the mural was halfway done. It wasn't grotesque or exaggerated. It almost had a classical quality, like a gallery portrait, except the subject had the hollow, unfiltered gaze of a mugshot. The artist planned to add finer details and seal it. I asked if he could leave the brushstrokes slightly visible to show the effort behind it. He agreed. I hadn't planned to show it to anyone else. It was meant to be my quiet act of reclamation. But that didn't last. Saturday morning, my phone buzzed with a message in the family group chat, silent since the photo shoot. Deandra had written, "Can someone explain why there's a painting of my mugshot online?" Someone had taken a photo of the mural and posted it. I later learned it was my mother, who'd shared it privately, and it had leaked onto a local forum. The caption was vague, but Deandra's face was unmistakable. The group chat erupted. I didn't respond. I turned off notifications and kept working. Deandra didn't discover the mural through social media. She found it because my mother had printed the photo and stuck it on their fridge with a handwritten caption, "Truth in pigment." Deandra saw it while pouring herself sparkling water. She didn't ask questions. She grabbed her phone and left. My phone started ringing immediately. Calls, texts, voicemails, some short, some lengthy rants. I didn't listen to them until much later. When I did, it was exactly what I expected. "You're sick. You're obsessed with me. This is why you'll always be alone." I let them pile up. I didn't respond. That night, my father called, the first time in months. He accused me of humiliating the family. I asked why it wasn't humiliating when Deandra got a DUI or when she told me to skip the photo because of my weight. He had no answer. Instead of arguing further, I dropped the screenshots of Deandra's messages into the group chat. Then I closed the app. No one replied for hours. Then Izzy liked the messages. Later, Izzy told me she'd discussed the mural with cousins at brunch. They didn't defend Deandra. One quietly nodded. Another said, "She's not wrong." No one openly opposed Deandra, but not everyone stood with her either. Over the next few weeks, the mural gained quiet attention online, first in local art circles, then a lifestyle blog. They praised its emotional realism and asked the artist for an interview with the commissioner. He checked with me. I declined. This wasn't about fame. My mother called again, her voice softer this time. She said I didn't understand how hurtful this was, for Deandra, for her, for everyone. I told her she didn't understand how hurtful it was to be erased from a family photo. The call ended quickly. Leo said the mural wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about voice. After years of silence, I'd created something people couldn't ignore, and they hated that it came from me. Deandra messaged the artist directly, offering double my payment to paint over it. He refused. He'd signed an agreement and wasn't interested in silencing someone's truth for money. He even posted a statement, "We don't erase truth just because it makes people uncomfortable." Things escalated. Other artists began sharing the mural as part of a raw truth movement. One painted their own mugshot. Another depicted their family's immigration struggles. None of it was loud or political, just honest. I finally replied to Deandra with one message. "The mural didn't ruin your image, your behavior did." No response. 2 days later, my mother texted, "Family dinner next weekend, just us, let's talk." The last time they'd invited me was for the portrait I wasn't allowed to join. Leo called,